Gazal has chosen as the theme for my pontifical visits faithfulness to our Armenian Christian roots. I would like to focus your attention on the word faithfulness. It's a simple yet mighty, powerful word. Faithfulness. The faithfulness, the Armenian word is havadarmutun. Havadarmutun. Havatken havadarmutun. Faithfulness. The root is faith. And the faith generates faithfulness. As for these words, I believe should have an important place in our individual, church, and community life. I think judging, assessing, you see, different things for different organizations, for different positions, we may use different criteria. I think this is the basic criteria. Faithfulness. And faithfulness, հավատարմությունը մեզի համար պետք է կարևոր դեր գրավի մեր անհատական թե հավաքական կյանքի մեջ։ Գնանք երևակայել մեկը, որ հավատարմություն չունի, հավատարմություն Աստուծո նկատմամբ, հավատարմություն իր եկեղեցու նկատմամբ, իր ազգին նկատմամբ, եւ ամենադժվարը իր անձին նկատմամբ։ Faithfulness to God, to our community, to church, nation, organization. But the most difficult thing is the faithfulness to our own self. I cannot imagine a credible human life without faithfulness. Therefore, I am very happy that this theme was chosen for my visitation program, faithfulness. I think it is vitally important that we remind ourselves as individuals, as church, as community, as organization, as homeland, that these words, the implications of this word, the imperatives emerging from this word, must become the driving force of our life. Faithfulness to our Christian Armenian roots. The theme, the motto, reminds us that we should remain faithful to what we are, to our self-understanding, our identity, who we are. What does it mean, being Armenian? Just a name? Just having I-A-N at the very end of our family name? No. Our Armenianness, our Armenian identity means something, reminds on something. First of all, our faithfulness to our roots. As I was saying the other day, that for us, the roots are not conceptual notion. Our roots are deeply rooted in our history, in our church, in our homeland, in our moral and spiritual values, in our national dreams and ideals. All these sacred realities constitute our roots, and they make up our Armenian identity. I still remember when I was a student here in 1976, this great country of America celebrated its bicentennial. And there was a book, I remember, Roots. Roots. People cannot live without roots. Any organization, any community, any nation cannot live without roots. Cannot survive without being faithful to its roots. Being faithful to the roots doesn't mean just looking backwards, but also looking forward. In order to look forwards with firm determination, with clear vision, we have to look, first of all, to backwards. Because the present, the future, have their roots in the past. And therefore, during this visit of mine, I will try to remind our people, my dear people, the dear sons and daughters of our nation, of our church, you should remain faithful to our roots. Well, in America, again, as I always remind our people, we are Americans, let's face it. We're part of this society. We should be realistic. We are part of this society, and we are integrated to this society. We cannot live in ghetto situation, in isolation, by marginalizing ourselves. No. We are part of this society. We are integrated. But at the same time, as you well know, the American society, the society of diversities, ethnic, cultural, religious, and these diversities constitute the richness of this society. And we should be proud that we are bringing our own contribution to the richness of American society. We have to remain faithful to the values of American society, but at the same time to our own roots, to our own values and principles. And I believe that there should be interaction, dynamic, creative interaction between these two dimensions of our identity. American and Armenian identities should coexist and should articulate themselves coherently, creatively in our individual and community life. Faithfulness to our roots, yes. Also faithfulness to the sacred legacy of our martyrs. The centennial is not something pertaining only to 2015. The centennial, with its spirit and message, was a present reality in our life, and it will continue with renewed dynamism and firm commitment in our life. We should take the spirit, the message, the challenge of the centennial beyond 2015. In fact, the Armenian cause has always been the integral, inseparable part of our life, particularly in diaspora. In all communities, all organizations have taken seriously the Armenian cause, including our church. Our church has been the forerunner, the avant-garde of the Armenian cause. and the Armenian cause has given this vision to our communities that our martyrs have given us a sacred legacy, and we should remain faithful to that legacy. We canonized our martyrs. Today, they are saints. And in a sense, their legacy is a sacred legacy. Remaining faithful to the sacred legacy of our martyrs means that we as a community, as a nation, with Armenia, with our homelands, should continue this struggle for the restoration of the violated rights of our people. We always remind ourselves that the leader in this struggle is Armenia, the Republic of Armenia. Having the Church, together with two Catholic saints, the Holy See of Echmiadzin and the Holy See of Cilicia, and all our organizations, the pan-Armenian engagement, that is our force. That is our force. We need to empower our people. This is the time that we give a new push, a new dynamism to our struggle for the recognition of the genocides. And I think it is also the time that we move step by step from recognition to reparation. And that should not be at the expense of recognition, because according to international law, recognition and reparation are closely interwoven, interrelated. We cannot draw a line of demarcation between these two dimensions. Recognition means reparation. And Turkey notice the international law says. And this is the time that we put a particular emphasis on reparation. I know that some countries, including the United States of America, have not yet formally recognized the Armenian genocides. Whether, you see, the genocide is described as great tragedy, or as massacre, or relocation, or by different terms, we don't care. Genocide is a genocide. As I said in Washington, genocide is a crime against humanity. And the Armenian genocide of 1915 is clearly inscribed in the annals of the history of 20th century. Nobody can deny it. For some countries, probably for geopolitical reasons, the word genocide is not yet used. But we cannot, as the Bible says, hide the truth under bushel. We cannot hide the truth. The truth shines, even in the darkness. Even in the darkness. Well, as I always say to our people, and also in international context, we are with reconciliation, but not cheap reconciliation, as I said in Washington. Not cheap reconciliation. perpetrator of the Armenian genocide should first of all reconcile with its own past by accepting the truth. And then the reconciliation process starts. Recognition and reparation. This is the right way. And the Armenians all over the world are engaged to this understanding, perception of reconciliation. And the Armenian Catholic Diocese of Cilicia have the guts, as you say, to take the first legal step. Ինչ-որ Անտիլիասը այս օրինավոր հայլը միայն Անտիլիասին համար չի, համահայկական իմաստ ու տարողություն։ Այս առաջին քայլը առնելով մեր առջև 100 տարիների ի վեր գտնվող փակ փոստուրը մենք պիտի փորձենք դառնել. We are before a closed door. By taking this legal action, our intention is to knock strongly at this door. Եվ ուսումնասիրած իսկացական բաներ չեն, մենք լավ ուսումնասիրած ենք ասիգա։ Մենք ասիգա չենք գնել, որ մեր ժողովրդին կողմն է այսպես ծափարություն խլելու համար, 3 տարի է ի վեր մենք այս քանի վրա աշխատում։ 3 տարի է ոմանք չի գիտեր, ես հաջող կացած եմ ժնել և legal committee-ն հանդիպումներ ունեցած եմ։ Լրջությամբ մոտեցած եմ, ուսումնասիրած եմ և ահավասի այս legal օրինական քայլին գտիմենք այն հեռանկարով, որ անոր պիտի աչորդեն Արևմտյան Հայաստանի գիլիկյո երկրացավատական գալվածները, անմատական գալվածներ, որովհետև գալվածներու վերադարձը reparation-ի կարևոր երեսներեն մեկն է։ Եվ ուրախ եմ այդներու, ինչպես դուք գիտեք, կոնգրեսը 3 տարիներ առաջ որոշում արավ return of churches and religious sites. Ահավասի, մենք այս քայլը գարնենք, որ և Թուրքիո գսենք, որ մեծիտան գիլիկյո գաթրո գոսարանը սիսի մեզի գլատկանը։ We are claiming the ownership. The ownership. And step by step, we will claim the ownership of thousands of Armenian monasteries, churches, religious sites. All this belongs to the Armenian people, to the Armenian church. Faithfulness to our martyrs, faithfulness to the legacy of our martyrs. When asked with these commitments, with this dedication, with this engagement, we will continue this process. And our people are with us. We believe in the power of people. Մեր ժողովուրդը պիտի մասնակցի մեզի և այն բոլոր աշխատանքներում, որոնք հայտարարին կապված են ամեն դեր, որովհետև հայտարարի աշխատանքները զանազան սերերով մեկ դեր ուղղված են, զանազան սերերով։ As I always remind our leadership in Armenia, we have a common vision, we have a common responsibility but there should be a division of labor. The Armenia as a state should have its own tactics and strategy, and the diaspora it should have its own. But there should be complementarity between these two strategies and tactics. There should be a converging point. Aspecti Allah. Պետք լավություն ասիրեն, հետևաբար հայրամյակեն հետո բիլչսը ամեն բան վերջացավ, ամեն մատ բունու թողեր, այդպես վերջացավ։ Ոչ, մենք բիլչսենք ասիգա, this is a wake-up call։ Հայրամյակը, մենք պահանջադեր ենք, աշխարհը մի մորնակ, մենք պահանջադեր ենք, մեր ժողովրդին իրավունքները խլված են մեզ մեր, ամեն մեկ ընտանիք Արևմտյան Հայաստանի մեջ, Գիլիգյոն մեջ, փամմտր գործունեած է, իր ընտանիքի անդամները կամ հող, կամ դում փամմը ցկած է, we cannot remain, we should remain restless, որովհետև մեր իրավունքները խլված են, այդ իրավունքներում դիմաց, մենք պիտի ըլլանք միշտ պահանջադեր։ Ես կուզեմ իմ խոսքս փակել Սարդարաբադ երկին հետևյալ քարերով, որ ես շատ կսիրեմ։ Բայց մենք չընկանք, մենք միշտ տանք, թեր չհանկանք և կտանք, և տանզանքը, ահազանքը, որ մեր ոգու բաք կդանք։ Ահա բասիկ եկար է ժամանակը, որ մեր ոգու բաք կդանք։